Rook endgames are the most frequently occurring type of single-piece endgame. From my own experience, Rook endgames arise in almost 15% of my own classical tournament games. Yet, time and time again, we see players of all levels messing them up. Now, I'm not here to criticize or belittle anyone. Rook endgames are deceptively simple, and I've messed up my fair share of them. Rather, it's much less painful to learn from the mistakes of others, which we're gonna do today. Let's take a look at the following game, which I witnessed at the Unimas Open last weekend. Here white's a pawn down, but because of the limited material, he has a pretty easy draw. In fact, this is actually a Philidor position shifted one rank up, which makes absolutely no difference to the defensive method. White simply waits along the 4th rank, and black can't really make progress without playing the move d4, after which white plays rook b8 and gives checks from the rear. For instance, after king e4, now we check on e8, check on d8, and on c8. And we'll just keep checking until black accepts our draw offer. However, white was not familiar with the Philidor position, and here he made a serious mistake. He played the move rook a5. The black king came forward, and after check on a4, so did the pawn. Now white's position is getting a bit dodgy. However, if he was familiar with the Kling and Horwitz defensive method, he would probably have made a very easy draw with the move rook a8. After rook g2 check, king d1, king e3. Now the key move is to play rook d8, so that after rook g1 check, king c2, the pawn cannot advance. There are more details about this endgame, which I've covered in a previous video. I'll put the link in the description below, so if you don't know this endgame yet, definitely check it out, as it's very important. However, in the game, white made a huge mistake. He played king e2, leaving his rook on a terrible square. And after rook g2 check, white is losing. King d1, and again we see this move king e3. Now black is ready to play the move rook g1 check and d3, which is completely unstoppable. After rook a8, black checks on g1, king c2, d3, king c3, rook c1 check, an important check, king b2, and now d2 would simply queen the pawn. But here black made a very serious psychological mistake. In this position, it looks like every single move is winning, and the black player prematurely relaxed. It's a very common mistake, and one that I've made many times in the past. Now here, black played move rook c2, which is still winning, but it takes a bit longer. After king b1, black should move his rook back to c7, for instance, and after rook h8, now he pushes the pawn to d2, and it wins. For instance, if white checks on e8, then black brings his king back very slowly but surely. And the point is that after rook d8, there's always going to be rook c1 check, followed by d1 queen. If white checks on e8, then the king goes to d2, and we get a very simple Lucena position. For instance, if rook h8, now black gives a check on b7, and a key move king c2, threatening to push the pawn. And after rook c8, king d1, and d2, we reach the Lucena position. And the winning method is very simple. Black plays the move rook b5, and is ready to bring his king out. And since rook e8, king c2, check, king d3, the king slowly walks out, and the rook covers the check. And now the pawn queens. This method is called building the bridge. However, black now played the move King d2, a serious mistake which throws away the win. White now has a second chance at life, and if he had known the idea of side checks, he could quite easily have found the move Rook h8. As you can see, the king is 3 files away from the rook, which means that we have enough checking distance. With the rook c7, now white is ready to give checks from the side. For instance, if black's king comes to e3, then we will check him around non-stop. And the black king cannot approach the rook without losing his pawn or allowing the white rook to catch his pawn. For instance, if the king tries to run this way, well, the pawn endgame is just a draw. So black plays king c3, white now plays king c1, bringing his king in front of the pawn. And it seems like black now wins with the move rook g7. But this is merely an illusion, as after the move rook c2 check, white easily holds this position. If d takes c2, we have an instant stalemate, and if the black king moves away, then simply rook c8, and the white king comes in front of the pawn with an easy draw. However, the white player was again unfamiliar with a basic concept of rook endgames, and he played move rook e8. Now black did not give his opponent any more chances. He played the move rook c5. Rook e7, king d1. And now we finally reach the Lucena position, after which black wins in the exact same way that we mentioned earlier. Simply brings out his king and covers the checks with his rook, after which white resigned. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something about Rook Endgames today. If you'd like to see more of this, check out these videos above. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.